Awesome. We are live. Welcome everyone for joining us with this GoDaddy Pro meetup. Today we have Kristina Romero, and she is coming to talk to us. Guys, I have not done this in forever. I am so sorry. She's coming to talk to us today about the new GoDaddy Pro Academy, which is amazing, and I am super excited about it. And I know you are too. Do you want to give us a little bit about kind of how you got here, and then
Oh
I'll
my
let you
gosh.
just steal the show.
Sure. Well, what people don't know is that this has been a conversation in GoDaddy for years. I mean, years of like trying to get this off the ground. So I came in like when it was finally starting to happen. So it looks like I'm like being like a catalyst, which there's so many people who've been trying to get this off the ground for so long. So like shout out to Nemanja because I know he's been trying to chip away at it for a long time too. And Adam Warner. But yes, so about a year ago, I started talking with some people over here at GoDaddy and them sharing this vision for putting training, courses, certification, things like that inside of the GoDaddy Pro environment, and sounded really exciting. It kind of aligned with my passion of really wanting to get more training out there to as many people as possible. So I was like, all right, let's do it, on board. And so secretly this has been happening underneath the, what's on the surface here for a year, basically. So oh, and then I should introduce who I am, which I'll do in this thing. But my name is Kristina Romero. If you guys don't already know, I'm the owner of WP Care Market, where we do a lot of training for web pros around recurring revenue and client relationships. And kind of stepping into GoDaddy here as a consultant contractor in some way to help build out this really cool thing that will take some time to grow. But if you guys like see what we're seeing, you're going to be super excited about it. So I'm hoping that's what I do today. I'm hoping like you get to see the vision and you get excited so that you can share the passion with all of us. So hopefully that's what will happen. I'm going to share my screen and talk really briefly just kind of what this is, because it is it's in its infantile stage. It's so small right now and so hidden that I want to share kind of what it is, where it's going, so you guys can start to learn from what's already out and not miss any opportunities from what's out there, as well as ways to watch and what to watch for as it starts to grow. So I made a quick slideshow. It's not a whole bunch. It's going to be just a little bit of time. So one thing I want us to do for this meetup is just like, as I'm going through this, or even right now, drop your questions in the chat or in the Q&A and just fire away like any questions you have, but also like any ideas, like anything you really want to see in this environment, like ideas for training or features or anything that what would really help you grow your business or help you with clients. Like, what can we do? And there's a handful of you guys on the call, so your feedback is going to be heavily weighted. so while I go through this, go ahead and just free flow all of that, and when I'm done with my spiel, my soapbox, you guys can we can start chatting here about what you put in there. So the GoDaddy Pro Academy, what is it and why does it matter? Why should it matter to you? That's what we're going to just talk briefly about. There's a little sneak peek there at the bottom of what will be, hopefully, the LMS environment for the Academy, which right now lives in YouTube. So where all good things live, where good things and bad things exist in YouTube. So let's see if I can, oh, here, I got this like a little way to navigate to the next screen, hiding somewhere in my computer. Maybe I tucked it away because we're not going to stay on that screen forever. Yeah, we go. All right. So I want to begin with a question for you guys. Yes or no? Was watching instructional videos online fundamental to you doing what you're doing today? So in your business, working with clients, the processes that you have, any of that stuff, yes or no? Was watching videos online fundamental? Cindy says yes. Ida says yes. Sergio says yes. I'm gonna sue. Yes, yes, yes. D says no. So we will get D is who I'm going to try and get here. But yes, that is perfect. What an honest answer. And I would say probably then based on those like 80-20, right? Like 80% of us probably self-taught, probably watched videos through YouTube or online or through some courses or through, different programs, business programs, or learning how to teach us a skill, right? We use those videos to kind of do what we're doing today. I know that when I started with HTML and CSS, what year was that? 2006, 2005, 2006. I'm not sure I watched any videos at that point. I read a book. But certainly as YouTube grew and these business programs came on, everything I consumed for my business was fundamental. So I did, I self-taught like you guys did. I self-taught, or like a lot of us did, self-taught. I mean, this industry moves so fast. Like, how can you not self-teach yourself? Because it's changing all the time. So that's kind of the fundamental point of what we're talking about with the GoDaddy Pro Academy. For most people, they're going to seek out this way of growing their business or starting their business by viewing instruction, by having someone teach them what to do, because we all know it's much easier to learn from someone else than to make the mistakes ourselves and then learn. At least we're at an age now where that's the case. My 12-year-old gets it. I don't know about my 7-year-old. I think he still likes to learn the hard way. So a little bit about me here as we chat. Founder of WP Care Market, where we train recurring revenue, client relationships, things like that, to freelancers and website agencies. So I've been doing this for quite a while, 12 years as an agency owner and 6 years as a coaching consultant. So I've talked to people about training for like every week for the last 6 years. So it's a lot of stuff. I love it. I'm so passionate about it. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why. And I tell this story so many times, but I don't, not everybody hears it. And it was actually a GoDaddy webinar. I did a GoDaddy webinar about website care plans. I want to say 2017. I want to say that's how long ago it was, 2017. And I got an email, I would say, and whoever this person is out there, if this person keeps hearing this story, they totally have to reach back out to me. Got an email from a guy who's a truck driver who said, I watched your webinar on GoDaddy about creating website care plans. And because of that webinar, I was able to secure a handful of care plans. And I'm going to be able to stop driving a truck and now have my own business. And like, I will never forget that email. I said at that moment, like, that's why I do what I do. That is why online training is so important. And that webinar was free. And so as I move forward in this space, obviously I've been charging for content, right? Because I got to make a living. Something so attractive to me about this GoDaddy Pro Academy was the idea of creating content that was free and accessible, that could actually really move the needle for people, because not everybody can make such a commitment to some of these business programs. And some of these business programs too are teaching such niche and specific stuff. So that was exciting for me, big moment in my life. And also a guiding force of why I feel like this is so important. So as I moved into it, I really brought a lot with me. Now, I'm not the only person. I am a catalyst for helping move this forward. There are so many amazing people behind this, and the feedback from the team at GoDaddy. But I did want to share, like, I do have a background in education and I do have a background in media. And all of this fuels what I really want the Academy to be. So I started early on. I was in my early 20s. I would spend the summers as an instructor for teaching teenagers and kids how to build websites. Then I ended up becoming a coach and course creator at WP Elevation, at Rockstar Empires, my own WP Care Market, and I'm a founder and organizer for recurring revenue retreats. So I do online education all the time. My background in media, most people don't know I was an actress on a soap opera for many years. Emmy Awards. Someone said the other day that I won. I was like, I appreciate that. It was just an honor to be nominated. But I directed for the soaps. I got my master's in screenwriting. I was an animator. I published 2 books. So like, got a huge background in media. So all of this is like, I do not want a low quality, right? Like, I've been where we have some really good quality of creation of education and media. And that's what I'm so excited about as well with this academy, is the quality. And that's what I want to keep. So as I step into like what this GoDaddy Pro Academy is, I am going to talk about what this means for you guys. But I do want to put out some of my goals is I wanted to see quality content, quality resources, clear lesson objectives that are action oriented. So if you guys have noticed, a lot of times when there's free content online, it's theory, right? It's theory. We give you the theory. And then if you really want to take action, step behind the paywall, right? And you can't blame that model because people have to make a living off of creating, this sharing these processes, sharing this content. It was so important to me that these videos actually are action oriented. Like, this is what you need to do. This is the resource to make it happen. Because what good is it talking about creating a niche, for example, the theory behind that, and then not actually giving you the steps to try to do that? So these courses really needed to be that really action oriented. And you see that in some of the screenshots here. And also, there's tons of amazing skill training out there. There's WordPress training. There's training on how to, goodness, do JavaScript, PHP, CSS, like, building with page builders, whatever it is that, that's out there. And there's such amazing training on that. And also a lot of training you can find through scouring YouTube, right? Because a lot of these tools, software, whatever, will provide documentation, and you self-taught that way, right? But there's not a ton of business training from people who have done this, who have lived this, who are passing along that out in a way that is quality and clear and action oriented, and something that's easily digestible to help you move the needle forward. So that's what I hope to see. I know this is something like, this isn't me, right? I'm kind of coming into this and I'm helping move it along. So surely as it grows, it may shift and change based on like leadership decisions, but that's what I'd like to see. So if anyone read the announcement post, there's like an announcement post for the GoDaddy Pro Academy. I kind of wrote a manifesto in that, and I sent it off to people who do the blog, and I was like, I hope this is okay. Kind of wrote a little bit of a manifesto, but how I see the web professional space. I see the web professional space as something that is what we find a deterrent of that low barrier to entry. A lot of people say, I go and I put forth a proposal to the client, and then he just went with the cheaper guy who probably hasn't been in business for a year, right? And there's that negative community experience. It's that throwing each other under the bus kind of experience. And that can happen if there isn't like a standardized conversation around handling clients, pricing, processes, things like that. For the longest time, my whole thing was like, I need to help the community define what a website care plan is. And that was my goal, is normalizing that conversation. This is what a website care plan is. If you're not doing that, it's not a website care plan, it's something else. And this is kind of the range at which they should be charged for, like how much they should cost, depending upon what country you're in and your cost of living and profit margins, right? That was my goal. And that goes for a lot of other things. So standardizing processes, client relations, pricing, and products. If we've been in it for a while, we know that there's a way to do things that really works. And so if we can give that training and really kind of normalize the conversations, the terminology, and the definitions behind something, we help our community. We make it better when potential clients come to us and we put forth proposals. We can even educate that crowd, right, about what they should be expecting. So there's such potential there about really helping the entire community with these things. So in return, you can take this training and you can lower your stress, become more efficient, become better educated as a community a whole, right? Low barrier to entry is sometimes a really good thing, like the truck driver conversation that I mentioned, that someone can get in and they can change their life. And they, it's such an abundant marketplace. There's so much work to be had in terms of building websites, caring for websites, marketing, things like that. So we shouldn't have this scarcity mindset. We should have an abundant mindset. And so that's kind of where we go with this Pro Academy. We really want to help the community as a whole with these types of things. In that blog post, I also mentioned 3 things: confidence, choice, and mobility. We are in a profession that offers us tremendous choice and mobility. We can raise our rates when we want to raise our rates. No one is telling us we can't. We can do that. And so it moves us up to a different tier. You can increase your revenue. You can give yourself a 10% raise, a 20% raise. You also have the choice to pivot who you want to work with, what you want to do. You have such choice. And also, again, through training, tremendous confidence that if you lost a couple clients today, could you find a couple tomorrow? Probably, right? There's confidence in the fact that I remember when we were qualifying for a mortgage, right? And my husband, who had one W-2, one job, they were like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, great, you're good." And they were like, "You, Kristina, who has like 50 clients or whatever, we need, X, Y, and Z, one, two." I'm like, "I'm making the same amount of money as him, right? Here's my tax returns. Here's everything. I'm making the same amount of money as him." And I had to prove so much that my business was resilient. And I remember making the comment at the time, I'm like, if my husband lost his job tomorrow, he has nothing. If I lose one client tomorrow, I still have 49 more, right? Our businesses are actually really resilient, especially in times of potential recession, because we can continue to get work. We have a skill set that continues to get work. So remember that as you move forward in this profession, like you are in a really good spot. This is a great profession to be in as a web professional in whatever, piece of it you do. All right. So real quick, our first 4 courses that are out now are on YouTube. They don't require a login. They, it's the fastest way to go to market, right? And you can go in there and you can take the really quick course, 8 lessons, really clear on objectives, action oriented, what you need to do. And the first ones were discover your niche, which is truly good for any level of web pro, because I think I don't think I niched down till I was like in year 6 or 7. So it took me a really long time to be like, you know what? I think I need to niche down into like a specific group of people I'm serving. So whether you're just getting started or you've been in it for a long time, everybody can benefit from this course. From side hustler to freelancer is really cool. So if you've been doing this on the side and you want to move to full-time freelancing, this is basically a mini course to be like, this is what you have to think about. This is what you have to plan for. Are you ready? Assess your business with these things to see if you're ready to go full-time, which is really awesome. I like that one a lot. Inquiry to sign proposal is basically a course about process. So if you're finding it difficult to take someone from their first inquiry with you to getting them to sign the proposal, it's a great course for that. Refresher, if you don't have a clear process, this is steal the process right out of there. And it's going to help convert people off of that proposal. So a lot of pieces in those lessons will help create that winning proposal. And then finally, creating your tech stacks. You can be in it for many years and not truly have a lot of great tech stacks or know what you need. It's great for getting started, great for the pro who's been in it for a while that are like, I have some problems. What tech stacks you need, what software you need is a really like checklist heavy course. So you can just download the resources and work through it and make sure you have everything so that you're really efficient at how you spin off those websites really quickly and onboard clients and all that great stuff. So those are some first 4 courses. I'm going to jump into YouTube in a minute and poke around and show you guys some aspects of those. So if you are taking them, again, this is in an LMS environment, so I don't have a lot of control to help walk you through how you should do this course. I'm hoping that's what we'll do when I kick out of this slideshow here. So give me a minute and then I'll come back to these 4 courses. But I did want to talk about the next courses. These aren't all of them. So this last year, we've produced 10 courses, which is insane. And nobody knew. We're like, ooh, little tiny people working in the background, 10 courses. And mostly around all these different categories: business, client management, and project management. So we've got like things like measuring success with metrics, ethical website design. Guys, I almost didn't want to mention this because I'm so proud of this course. I love this course so much. Can't wait for it to come out. Ethical website development. So, and then we have the category of service and product creation. So like building secure WordPress websites is a course that'll be coming out. Marketing and lead gen, like increasing brand trust and social proof. So that's just a few of them that are coming. Like I said, there's 10 total that we've completed that are just, again, the quality and the resources in it. It's so exciting. It's like gosh, I hope people find this because there's so much work that went into it, and they're really, really awesome. So that's to come. Now, where will those be? Hopefully, they will be inside an LMS, a learning management system. This is a work in progress right now. As they're living on YouTube, we're kind of building this in the back. And this will be, again, available to anybody who has the GoDaddy Pro login. So if you already have that, you're a step ahead of the game. That's kind of what we're going to do here. And release those in an environment in which you guys can make it easy to track your course progress, reference back, save, share, go in and find that skill up video you watched, or that resource you downloaded, have that login, have achievements, have, badges, all that wonderful cool stuff that makes a learning environment really motivate you forward. So trust me, that is our goal moving forward. That is where our sights are set, and we know how important this is to growth and using education to move the needle for you. YouTube is fantastic because it's easy to reference and all that great stuff, but we know that you need an environment to really help. So like I said, as long as you've joined the GoDaddy Pro, which is free, that will be the only requirement, as far as I know at this moment in time. So you're already a step ahead if that's what you got. Okay, real quick. This is what I need from you, right? And we'll talk about this a little bit more as I pop out of here. Feedback. If you've gone into the courses on YouTube, looked at it, you guys, this is who it's for. So if you have feedback about something that didn't work for you, something that could have been better, or something about the resources or whatever, please share that feedback. You can share it now, or you can find me online, or you can find Sandy, track Sandy down, and get that feedback to us. Also would love ideas, the things that you guys are like, gosh, I really need to know more about this, or I'd love to see this. Please go ahead and share that as well. But most of all, spreading or DM Adam Warner or @mention him on Twitter. And it's in the chat. So most important thing is to spread the word. The one thing, if you want to know my fear, although I don't have fear really, but my fear is this amazing, great quality, like content that's action oriented, like as actually really, really good, is going to get lost. People aren't going to find it because they wouldn't even believe that something like this could be free, right? Or accessible to them. So please share it. And one way you can do that is if someone's talking in Facebook about a topic, like, man, I really need a niche, right? I would love to figure out what to do. You can share the link to the course in the comments section, right? Oh, hey, GoDaddy has this, right? Spread the word. Answer questions with those videos. There's some skill up videos I'm going to show you in a minute that are really specific. And then share the resource, download them and share them. I cannot tell you, the more that I trained on how to define my niche, the more I share that with my clients. And I would be like, I think at one point, my dear friend, an awesome colleague, Mike Killen, had taught me things, a while back, and he'd given me a worksheet. And I remember taking that with his permission, tweaking it, and then just sending it to all my clients. So, this is stuff, a lot of this stuff that we talk about is stuff your clients can actually benefit from. And you can just share like a resource with them. Hey, this is a ideal client profile. Maybe this will benefit you as we talk about doing your website. Fill out this ideal client profile and go from there. So just use a GoDaddy resource for that, right? I think that's, yeah. So let me show you that. Boop, boop. I'm going to exit that. So if you're in Discover Your Niche, for example, boop. If you go down to the description section, you'll see the lesson resources. That's where you're going to find resources for that course. And they'll be in every description for that, every video of that lesson. But a good example is this ideal client profile. So tastefully done in GoDaddy branding. This is a great thing to send your client, not just something you want to work on, but you're like, you know what? Done. Like, this is part of my onboarding now. Just send this to them. So all these resources can double as that, but you can share these as well. So it could be like you're in Twitter or you're in Facebook or you're in some kind of group and you're like, you guys need to work on your avatar, and then send it to them. So that's spreading the word. And like I said, with it living in YouTube here, it's a little tough because it's not that controlled LMS environment, but you have the lessons up top here, and the lessons will reference some skill up videos. So every course right now has basically 2, maybe more skill up videos. And what they are is specific things that maybe some people know and some people don't. So writing better emails, and then we get an expert to come on and then they share that specific knowledge about writing better emails, for example, right? So he's from Sakuri and he's going to share about writing better emails. So each of them have these skill up videos that aren't lessons, but they are amazing. Like I got Hans from Termageddon to come on to talk about privacy policies, right? And what you really need in a privacy policy, things like that. Those are also videos you can send your client to be like, yeah, no, we need the privacy policy. This is why. So it's not just something that you're going to learn, but it's going to strengthen your relationship with your clients as you find how to have a better business and a better relationship with them. So those are going to be at the bottom. They'll be referenced. You'll be watching like lesson 5, for example, discover your niche, communicating with your niche. And it'll talk about, hey, in the skill up video, building landing pages with WordPress blocks, that's where you're going to find the video in the bottom of the list there. So practically speaking, that's where you'll find that. And then in the description is where you'll find the resources. It is what it is. This is a great way to get it out really quickly. You guys don't need a login. Jump into YouTube, go through them. Really so impressed with how these came together. So let's see what else. That's mostly the breakdown of the Academy. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh, cancel. There we go. Okay. And now I can open this up to, again, feedback, concerns, questions, ideas, confusion, all of those great things. Hit me with it. Sandy, do you have any questions?
I think this is awesome. I'm excited to see the launch because I know we've been working on it. Like, you've been putting so much time, effort, energy into it, but like we've been talking about this for forever. So it's really nice to see it actually come and be a thing. So yeah.
I found something from Nemanja. I don't know how it was shared with me. I had it from July of 2017. It's been a long road. Yeah.
For sure. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback? I could come up with more adjectives. No, this has been great,
thanks,
Kristina.
Miranda. Miranda says knowledge is power. It's so true.
It's very, very true. Yeah. Adam and I put our Twitter handles in the chat, so feel free to always reach out to us. Either one of us can get stuff back to Kristina. Kristina's on Twitter as well. This is being live streamed to Twitter
that's true.
as well.
You could tweet me too.
That, and seeing if there's anything coming through on that. And this is recorded, so this will go up on YouTube in the next day or so, and then you can always come back to the link that you used to join this event, and you will see this recording. So if you wanted to review it again, or if you wanted to share it out with someone else, you could do that as well. Adam just asked a question: when can we expect to see the additional courses that are planned?
So yeah, that's a conversation. They're all done, which is amazing that we were able to, the team we're working with that are editing and putting everything together. We have one last one we're editing. Ideally, we would, again, love that LMS environment because we know how instrumental that is to learning, to be able to track your progress and to come back to things and pick up where you left off. Again, you go back to YouTube and you got to start all over again, right? You got to find the page, you got to find what video you were on and all that. So ideally, hopefully we can launch that by Q1 and pressure's on, and we can begin to release the rest of the courses. Like I said before, my favorite is ethical website development. I can't wait for that to get out. So I want to say I really want to get the LMS and get that out as soon as possible, as soon as possible. But there's a lot to chew on already with those 4 courses. So even if, people take their time to take, a course every couple weeks and implement it, then by the time they've done those 4, I'm sure we'll be out with the 5th one and the 6th one.
Awesome. David wants to know if this program works with the reseller program. And I don't know, Kristina, is that a question you can answer, or did you want me to dive in a little bit?
You can dive in.
Okay. So the reseller program is something totally different. So this program is free. So as long as you, like she said, it's on YouTube. So you can go on YouTube and digest any of this content. For the downloads and things like that, I put the link up above, it's godaddy.com/pro/academy. All the resources are right there. So it's not something that you have to be a reseller program member of or a pro program member of. It's just there. So this is GoDaddy working for the greater good, which is what, one of the reasons why I love working here. And I'm sure Kristina feels the same way, but I'm not going to speak for you.
And David, you're like, hey, we should have incentives and reward programs. And like, if you complete a course, you get point. Like, that's the ideas, right? That's like, I could say that, but they're not going to listen to me. But if you say that, hey, I want this to play into like what I'm already doing here in the reseller program, like make that feedback at mention myself or Sandy or Adam on Twitter and say it so that we can screenshot it and be like, well, David said he would love it if it did X, Y, and Z. So that's really what it's about. The leadership loves hearing from what you guys want. So make your case and say what you would love to have it do. I do strongly feel gamification is just like the secret sauce to making education work. It's just how we're wired. And if we have, points and badges and things like that, and things you could be working toward, I just know then people implement. I mean, there's some people who implement either way, right? But like some people just need that extra push. So I would love to see that happen. I would love for that. I would love to earn swag. I'm always for swag. Cindy said, yep. My goodness, could you imagine if like you completed so many courses or implemented in such a way that you then get some swag? And Sandy's great at choosing swag as well.
It is a pastime. It is a talent. Is that a skill set? Can I put that on my LinkedIn?
Something you love to do.
Badges,
Yes.
stickers, that's an amazing one. All that's part of like gamification, earning swag. This is all great feedback. Kristina, I know you and I are going to be discussing a lot of ways we can implement some of that stuff. We already have those conversations on the book. So that's going to be great to actually like dive in and see how this is going to come to fruition as we move on to, more of an LMS based platform. So this
and
is all awesome.
Also if we could, we have these courses, right? You take Discover Your Niche. Wouldn't it be so great if we did a meetup and we really talked about it? That's a great idea as well. If that would be helpful for you guys, like put it in the chat. Would that be helpful that you take Discover Your Niche and you actually come on here and we talk about it? Maybe again, I've always found you're listening and people are like, but what about this situation? What about this scenario? And having that live feedback is so helpful to be like, okay, yeah, we didn't talk about that. How could that work, for example? Yes, Randy, if gamification is there should be a way to opt out or turn off. I know what you mean with the annoying notifications and pings. And I think that's probably more, would you say, Randy, that's kind of the turn off is the idea with the gamifications, just getting like constant pings and notifications, right? And you're like, I don't want anything to do with this. I want to just put my head down and do what I want to do and leave. So I'll tell you the good news is the LMS I am demoing and hopefully putting out, you can control those notifications. You can be like turning them all off. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Do not bother me.
Yeah, I know that can be, I'm going through training for some of the software that we use, and they use like a whole LMS system for that training. And it's like, I get an email that's like, "Hey, did you know if you do this one more thing, then you'll hit this new status level?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm doing this in my spare time. I am getting there when I can.
Don't bother
Don't
me.
push me.
There
Don't push
is
me."
definitely a balance between, for example, it living in a, an environment like YouTube where there's no accountability, there's no moving forward, there's no reminding you it's there, there's no progress bar that says how far you've gone, right? Because a progress bar is gamification. Saying you've gone 20% way of the course is gamification. That's technically what it is. There's like that, and then there's the Duolingo. I call it like Duolingo is the most annoying app in the world when you're trying to learn a language. If you don't turn off all the notifications, because it reminds me every single day that I don't know Spanish very well. And it continues to try to gamify my experience. And it's so annoying. So I do think that there's a nice balance there. And again, full control over like, I don't want anything. I want to learn this way. That's the other thing we have to remember when it comes to this stuff is that people learn differently. So there's some people who learn visually, and there's some people who learn from reading, and there's some people who are, with their hands and actually doing it and implementing it. So we got to be mindful of that too. There's different ways people learn. Some people can be motivated with gamification, and some people can be turned off. So it's a great point.
I think the other great thing is we have all this available to us, right? Like we have this webinar platform that we're using right now. And so you can join a chapter and hear about new
Mhm.
events and learn about new things going on. And then on top of that, we also have the community.godaddy.com platform that allows you to interact and have ongoing conversations. So, like this event right now has a post on community that allows you to
Mhm.
go and discuss what's going on about this event on that post. So if you think of something later on and you want to still provide Kristina feedback, feel free to leave comments in that post community. I'm going to go find the post and put the link in here.
Yeah, no, that's
Because,
perfect. That's a great spot to do it for everyone who's
you
watching
know,
the replay, especially. Drop it in there. It's, I always say whenever I talk about course creation, membership, I worked with a lot of people who created membership sites. Like our niche, right before I sold my agency, because I ended up selling my agency in a positive way, it was a good thing. Our niche was membership websites, like LMS and membership websites. And one thing I would always tell them is stop talking and start listening. That your community will tell you what they want to learn, what they want from your LMS environment. They will tell you if you just start listening. A great point with Randy here. So it's all about what you guys would like to see. You are the people this is supposed to serve, and we need to help you move the needle so you can grow your businesses. Yeah, Cindy, is that what you do too? Yeah, all e-learning membership. I just loved those clients. I love building those sites. Miss Cindy said in the chat that she does that. Yeah, community is everything. The fact you guys showed up live and the people who are watching the replay, if you can get connected even more, and then chat with others or post about some struggles that you're having with the content, you can get some insight and start implementing it more effectively. Yeah.
awesome.
Let's see. What about so you guys have the meetups here. Do you have any where everybody's live, where their face is on and everyone can chat? Do you guys ever have those? Sandy?
We have tried to do some of that in the past. It just depends on what the content is because Marcus plans all of those.
Mm.
And so, yeah, that's definitely something we can consider doing in the future for sure. The platform does allow for that. So,
Yeah, that's another question for you guys. I mean, does it help if there are some kind of monthly or quarterly type of call where it has a coaching element to it? You're coming on, you're sharing your roadblocks, you're sharing challenges that you had with content and implementation and getting feedback from others and from, from facilitators. I'm curious about that because I know that from my experience, that was always really, really helpful to have that. Has anyone taken any of the courses yet on YouTube? And if you have, which one? Or if you want to, you can say not yet, and then which one is interesting to you.
I'm looking forward to ethical.
Also,
all the ethics.
yes, I know, right? The one that's not out yet. Thanks, Sandy.
Sorry.
To me, discover your niche was really easy. One to get into. Cindy says, yes, she has. Connecting with peers has always been the number one way I've learned and grown my biz. Yes, I agree. Yeah, I also have to say the talent in these videos, I thought they did a really good job of presenting this very technical content. It's hard to talk about things like, and like be convincing that you know what you're talking about. So yeah, discover your niche was a really easy one to get into, and I think will be a good refresher for a lot of people if they've been doing it for a while or struggling to get started. And really understanding why that's important. And it's not like, oh, I work with plumbers. It's not what it is. It's not being like, oh no, if I only work with plumbers, then anyone who comes to me, I can't do work for them. That's not what it's about at all. It's about defining who you serve best so you can attract more of those people. And then you can still work with people outside of your niche. It's just about really focusing your attention. So then you get to the point after a couple of years where, you know what, you can't take anyone outside of your niche. You're so busy just getting the people who are in your niche, right? So that's what it's about. It's about attracting more. How do you get more clients? If someone's like, I want to take GoDaddy content, but I need more clients. I'd be like, it doesn't sound like it, but discover your niche is the course that you want. That's how you get more clients.
Yeah, people don't always realize how important a niche is too. Like, I ran a digital marketing agency for years, and we didn't really niche down. And honestly, I think that was part of the reason that we weren't able to successfully market in mass, was because it was, a school over here and a restaurant over there and a real estate guy over here. And so it was just hard to, you have to learn everything there is to know about their business when you're marketing their business. And so when you have a niche, then yeah, go take the course.
Yeah, no, that's 100% it. And it makes sense when you're starting off that you're going to take whoever comes through the door. You're still learning what you like to do. You're still learning your skill set, how to build, making processes, figuring out the whole onboarding and the offboarding. Like, it just makes sense. You're just going to take whoever it is. Then you get to the point where you're starting to get stretched thin. You're learning every time you make a website, there's like a whole new set of plugins that you're having to relearn because it's a real estate agent and they want listings on their site. And now you're like, can I really budget for having to learn how to use this plugin? Well, if you go off and you do 10 more real estate agent websites, then that's fine. You can kind of take the little bit of the loss of having to learn that. And then, so that's what you're finding when you get into it. You're like, okay, now I'm trying to become more efficient. I'm trying to grow my profit. And you can grow your profit just by niching because you already figured out what theme to use. You've already figured out what plugins to use. You already know the audience. You already know somewhat of the audience. And so you've just saved so much time having done it for many other people before. And then also the client coming to you looks at you as an expert. So you can have that price on your proposal a little bit higher because of the value that you bring to it and the expertise that you bring to it. And again, I say all the time, a niche can be someone like for us, for a while before we went like kind of membership sites and in education, LMS, that kind of thing, it really was, I want someone who is a single entrepreneur business owner who does not have a big team. Like, they don't have an IT person. They don't have a marketing person. It's them and maybe a handful of other people. And so therefore I become the expert for them. And so I called that the single decision maker. I only wanted to work with businesses who had a single decision maker. The same person signing the proposal was the same person cutting the check. And that's who I wanted to work with. And so I ended up turning away a lot of very big things that were like large companies with huge IT departments and big finance offices and multiple decision makers, because I was like, you know what? That doesn't work with my process. I have a process in onboarding and offboarding, and it works really well for single decision owners. And like that was it. Like that was my niche for the longest time. And it worked really well. And communication was always super easy. And my process of how you had to communicate with me made sense because I was only working with those types of people. Didn't mean that we didn't have a few that were outside of that, but that's who I wanted to attract. So my landing page copy sounded different, right? Sounded geared towards that, my portfolio, things like that. But it doesn't mean that you turn away business. You just get better at doing it for a certain type of people.
Awesome.
I could talk about this. I could talk about each course and give you the lowdown on each course. And yeah.
I'm going to put one more link in the chat, and that's directly to the community group for GoDaddy Pro, because I know as time goes on, we'll create some discussions and things like that around some of these courses more specifically. So that way, if anybody wants to kind of log in, Ken's working on getting a this event specifically up on the platform so that people can discuss ideas about the gamification or
cool.
some of these awesome things that we've heard. So yeah, and other than that, Kristina, do you have anything else that you want to plug while we're here?
Well, I want to thank anybody who is here and who is watching the replay. One, I think it shows that you have an openness to, like, you saw, like, all this was like introducing the GoDaddy Pro Academy. So, I mean, you showed up because you had an openness to say that you valued education and that education can make a difference in your business. So, I want to just say I recognize that. I know it's not easy to take an hour out of your day and your business to come for this type of topic. So I absolutely challenge you to just get involved in that way. Comment, feedback, ideas. It only takes a few people to come out and say, hey, we want to see this, to then put that content out and really meet those needs. So I'm so thankful. And I'm also really excited. I hope you guys can share the passion to what this could become and how it could change the space, how we could really educate so many people to make a whole better environment for us, a better community. And that's what I would love to see.
Awesome. This is the last meetup of the year. So I know everybody's used to
holidays.
3 p.m. on Wednesdays Eastern time, getting together and learning new awesome things. We start back up January 18th. And January 18th, we will have not one, but 2 meetups that day. One will be with our security team talking about SSLs. And then the other one is all about improving your e-commerce engagement so that you can sell more. So both are going to be absolutely amazing. One's at 2 p.m. Eastern, one's at 3 p.m. Eastern. So you can pick and choose what you want to do. But otherwise, we will see you in the new year. Have a very happy holidays. It doesn't matter what you're celebrating. Celebrate something. And
celebrate love, family,
exactly, all of it. Do something for you and do something for others. And we will see you in the new year. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.